Well, thank you, Ronnie, for that introduction and those opening remarks. Today, I am very much a European. I know for some of you that might be a little bit of a surprise, but I am absolutely proud of our European golfers. What an incredible result. And I trust as I deliver my speech, you won't be like the badly behaved Americans, and you will resist the temptation to heckle and abuse me as we go through this speech today. But thank you for coming. I'm delighted that I've been able to join you in terms of opening up this conference. Today's a sitting day at Stormont, and we have school uniform legislation going through at further consideration stage. I've question time this afternoon and a number of other engagements, so forgive me for not being able to stay whenever I conclude these opening remarks. It's genuinely a privilege for me to be able to be with you today. You're the school leaders and educators who shape the future of Northern Ireland every single day. And I want to take the opportunity at the very outset of today's events to express my ongoing gratitude for your hard work, your professionalism and commitment to supporting children and our young people. Every day, over 300,000 children walk through the doors of schools across Northern Ireland. What they learn, how they are supported, and the opportunities they are given will shape not just their future, but also ours. I'm delighted that you've joined us today to explore one of the most important issues in education, curriculum reform. And speaking candidly, when I became Education Minister now over 18 months ago, the issue of curriculum reform was not on the department's agenda. But from considering international best practice, it quickly became obvious to me that it was critical to the success of our education system. That's why last year I asked Lucy Crehan to review our present curriculum and to make some recommendations for the way forward. And although we started long after the Francis Review in England, I was delighted that Lucy concluded her work before the summer and allowed us to move on to the next stage of our reforms. I want to add my thanks to those of Ronnie, to all of our contributors, and I'm sure that you'll agree that we've assembled an exceptional range of speakers who represent the very best practice across the United Kingdom. And I also want to thank Ronnie Armour in particular, who's been the Permanent Secretary now for nearly a year. Working with him, he has enabled the ambition that I have within the department, made changes within the department to empower those that have the expertise to drive forward the agenda that we have. I know Ronnie's heading to pastures green in a number of months' time. I would love to have kept him, but he will be retiring in due course. But the period of work over the last 12 months working with Ronnie has been transformational within the Department of Education, and I trust we all appreciate the work that he has brought to education in Northern Ireland. So thank you, Ronnie. I hope today sparks ideas, that it stimulates conversations, it deepens understanding, and it energises you for the journey ahead. My reform agenda that's outlined in my department's TransformED strategy focuses on 5 key areas: curriculum, assessment, qualifications, school improvement and tackling educational disadvantage. They're all underpinned by both a relentless focus on supporting effective teaching through significant investment in professional learning and a determined commitment to streamline bureaucracy and reduce teacher workload. Transformation must have the support of our school leaders and our teachers. Together we can drive improvement, building on the many strengths of our education system. I hope that you've all noticed a step change in the work of the Department of Education. It's no longer the Northern Ireland Civil Service sleepy backwater in Bangor. The Department of Education and the exceptional team of officials that we've assembled is now leading real change for the executive as a whole. A refocusing on what matters most in education, supporting effective learning and teaching through a coherent programme of reform and investment. TransformED sets out a clear vision for education that's bold, ambitious and unapologetically focused on excellence, equity and inclusion. Of course, reform begins in your schools. It moves when you move. It succeeds when we invest and when you believe in it. Your support drives it forward. So as Minister of Education, I want to reaffirm my pledge to supporting teachers at every stage of their careers, from initial teacher education to ongoing professional development, to supporting you as the school leaders. We must ensure that every teacher has access to the resources, training and support they need to excel in their profession. After many years of limited progress, we have made significant strides forward in our professional development over recent months. In May, I launched the online Teacher CPD Academy for post-primary schools. The Academy offers on-demand courses, expert insights and practical resources that are grounded in cognitive science research. 145 post-primary schools have signed up for the Academy, and over 6,000 teachers in Northern Ireland will benefit from this programme. In June, my department launched the TransformED Teacher Professional Learning Fund. It's a £31 million investment over 3 years, providing schools with dedicated per teacher funding to support high-quality, evidence-based professional development. This fund empowers schools to purchase professional learning tailored to their specific needs. We've also funded over 100 schools to host 50 research-informed conferences, bringing together practitioners, researchers and school leaders to share what works and why it works. A high-quality induction programme is essential to ensuring that our newest teachers enter the profession with the confidence and support they need to thrive. And working with the Education Authority, my department has developed a major expansion of the induction programme for early career teachers. I've also announced a new initial teacher education bursary scheme aimed at tackling teacher shortages in critical post-primary subjects across Northern Ireland. The bursary scheme represents a strategic investment in our education system and our economy. In the months ahead, we will extend the online Science of Learning professional development programme to primary schools, develop a new professional qualification for headship, strengthen the provision of school-to-school support through a Leaders of Education programme, and develop a new professional learning programme for existing experienced principals. I want us to work together to build a culture across our community where education is truly valued and teaching is rightfully regarded by all as an attractive, high-status profession. Reform thrives when leaders lift others to lead alongside them. I want you as school leaders to drive forward this investment in teachers and teaching. Assessment reform is also well underway. An independent review panel chaired by Tim Oates, who is speaking today, has been established and is actively progressing its work. Later this year, they will publish a call for evidence and a teacher survey, which I would ask you to respond to both to help shape the way forward. My department has worked with SIA to put in place for the first system-level sample assessments in literacy and numeracy for pupils in years 4, 7 and 10. A representative sample of participating schools have already been identified, and the first assessments will be taking place in March. This new approach aligns Northern Ireland with international best practice, mirroring approaches used in countries like Canada and Singapore. It will provide a clear, evidence-based understanding of how well our pupils are developing essential skills in reading, writing and mathematics in each key stage. The insights gained will play a vital role in shaping policies and interventions. This approach is also explicitly designed to involve as little work and bureaucracy for schools as possible. We are also accelerating the development of computer adaptive assessment through SIA, with a record 522 schools participating in the September 2025, this year's pilot. Assessment reform is not a technical adjustment, it's a commitment to fairness, relevance and excellence. And if we're serious about delivering a world-class education for every child in Northern Ireland, then we must measure learning and progress accurately and make sure that we use data effectively to drive improvement, to close gaps and unlock opportunity. I've also recently launched a public consultation on the future policy direction for GCSE and A-level qualifications in Northern Ireland. So this is your opportunity to shape the system our young people will experience for years to come. And I urge you to take the time to read, to reflect, and then to respond. Our proposals are guided by a clear and ambitious vision to create a more streamlined, learner-focused system that prioritises depth of understanding over sheer quantity of assessment. The proposals aim to reduce the number of exams that young people sit and, wherever possible, to remove controlled assessments. So this will ease the burden on teachers, freeing up valuable time for high-quality teaching and meaningful learning. The message is simple but powerful. More time for deeper learning, less pressure to teach to the test. We want to empower teachers to inspire, not just prepare and enable students to truly engage with their subjects, not just to memorise mark schemes, but reform must be shaped by those who lead our schools, and we want to hear your views on these important issues. Now to the reason why we're here today. Curriculum reform. Curriculum is the backbone of all education, a roadmap that shapes what pupils learn, how they develop thinking skills and how they prepare for life, work and citizenship. Lucy Crehan's review that was completed in June made clear that Northern Ireland needs a new statutory curriculum framework, a framework that is purpose-led, knowledge-rich, continuous and coherent, specific and focused, and flexible and inclusive. In July, my department published its formal response, accepting many of the review's recommendations, including for a new curriculum task force to drive forward reform. The task force terms of reference have also been published, setting out a clear mandate for modernising and aligning our curriculum with international best practice. I'm delighted that Christine Council, chair of the task force, is contributing to the conference and will have the opportunity to engage with you today. Christine brings unparalleled expertise as a globally recognised thought leader in education. She has advised successive United Kingdom governments and most recently helped to lead the curriculum review in Flanders. The vision for the new curriculum is one that is knowledge-rich. But what does that mean? And more importantly, perhaps, what doesn't this mean? The idea of a knowledge-rich curriculum comes from a growing body of evidence backed by cognitive science that knowledge is not just nice to have, it's the bedrock of all learning. The more students know, the easier it is for them to learn new things, including skills, because they have context to hook new ideas into. It is important to emphasise that this does not mean we ditch or deprioritise skills. A knowledge-rich approach provides the opportunity to supercharge skills. Knowledge-rich also does not mean rote learning of disconnected facts or pieces of trivia, nor does it mean heavy content or curriculum overload. It is about determining core concepts that are vital in supporting the progressive acquisition and application of deep learning. By being more specific about what should be taught, we can also be more specific about what should not be taught, guarding against overload. At the heart of these reforms is a commitment to equity, particularly for children from disadvantaged backgrounds. Access to high-quality, structured content can bridge the knowledge gaps that often arise from the socio-economic disparities. Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. By equipping all children with a solid foundation of substantive and disciplinary knowledge, we give them the intellectual tools to succeed regardless of their starting point. For our most disadvantaged pupils, this means opening doors to opportunities that might otherwise remain closed, fostering confidence and enabling them to compete on equal terms with their peers. A curriculum grounded in powerful knowledge, carefully selected, coherently sequenced and taught with purpose, does more than impart facts. It cultivates curiosity, it hones analytical skills, it enables critical thinking and prepares young people to engage with complex ideas. So what does knowledge-rich mean in reality? Well, hopefully you'll be finding out today. But for me, it means thorough teaching and learning, not rushing through delivery. Careful sequencing of concepts and content to build real understanding. Every child progressing and a curriculum that is manageable in the classroom, not overwhelming. These are the foundations of a system that works for learners and for teachers. That's the vision that we're working towards, and it's one we can only achieve with your leadership and your insight. Curriculum reform needs the voice of serving teachers. We're setting up subject working groups to develop the new framework. This is an opportunity to shape the future of education, and I encourage you to consider joining one of these groups. Your experience and expertise are vital. And as I conclude, let me say something about delivering reform. We're taking forward whole system transformation. And I appreciate that this can be daunting and that change needs careful management. The TransformED programme is designed to be coherent across all key elements of education. So please be assured its delivery will be staged and its rollout accompanied by high quality training and support. By considering curriculum, qualifications and assessment together, we can ensure a well-structured and consistent programme of reform. But that does not mean changing everything at once. We are laying the groundwork for reform, a new curriculum framework supported by effective assessment, enabled by progressive qualifications, delivered by empowered educators who are trusted, trained and valued, learning from the best systems internationally. And I believe change is needed for our children and young people, but this needs your support and your voice. So to conclude, reform is not a threat. It is a promise to do better, to be better and to serve better. From me, TransformED is that promise. A promise to every child that their education will be ambitious, inclusive and life-changing. A promise to every teacher that they will be supported, trusted and valued. And a promise to our society that education will be the foundation of a more prosperous and confident Northern Ireland. I want to thank all those who have contributed to this progress so far. Your commitment is the engine of this transformation. And together we're not just imagining a better future, we're building it. And with TransformED, we are delivering the change that our system needs and our young people deserve. Thank you.